Hello, a very warm welcome to Handcrafts with Nadine. My name is Nadine. I'm coming to you from northern New South Wales, Australia, very close to Byron Bay, if you've ever heard of this place, this beautiful, magical place. And though I'm originally from Montreal, Canada. I've been knitting for over 20 years, and I've been crocheting since I was about 8 years old. And I've been sewing maybe for just over 10 years, though that was mostly hand sewing and doll making, and I have been garment sewing for probably the past 3 years, maybe I'd say. The purpose of me making this podcast is to keep you company while you're doing your crafting, so sewing, knitting, crocheting, or whatever else it is that you do. I know for myself, I love nothing better than to sit down on my couch, pick up my project, and have a knitting podcast or some kind of crafty podcast going on in the background just to keep me company. Yes, I've been living here in Australia for nearly 12 years, and I don't really have any crafty friends that I can talk about my craft with, particularly knitting. I mostly knit, and I don't really have anyone here who is as into knitting as I am. So I love watching knitting podcasts and really feeling kinship with the people that are making the podcast. So I hope that I could also be that for you if you're watching this. And it's also a way for me to kind of feel like I'm having a conversation about my knitting. All right, today I'm going to be talking to you about some really awesome thrifty finds that I've got at an op shop last weekend, and my work in progress, which is a knitted dress, and a finished object, which I just finished. I started in between last week's podcast and this week's podcast, so you haven't heard anything about it. So it's a hat, spoiler alert. So I'm very excited to show you that. And I think I'll do a little tour of my garden towards the end of the podcast. I'll just show you a little bit about what's growing in the garden. So it's springtime here in Australia, and it's getting very warm. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Okay, to start with what I'm wearing, I did not make this. This is one of my thrifty finds. So my daughter had a dance concert on the weekend, maybe again last weekend. And I had a bit of time to kill from when I had to drop her off to when the show started. They had to practice their lighting and things like that. So I went around to some thrift stores, or as they're called here in Australia, some op shops, opportunity shops. And I went to quite a few, and on the last one that I went to, I really scored. So it was a Salvos. It's called Salvos in Australia. Everything is abbreviated in really cute ways, like the Posty or the Sparky. So Salvos is Salvation Army. And the one that I went to up in the Gold Coast was really near Hada, the home of the arts. And it was really amazing. I got this beautiful top. This is a 100% silk top. I love the sleeves. It's so cute. And it's got beautiful embroidery on the top here. And it's kind of got like short, long, and these buttons at the back. And man, does it feel amazing to wear. Silk. I think on my podcast last week, I talked about one of my ranunculus was 100% silk, and it's just so lovely to wear in summer. And especially this one is so drapey. Honestly, it feels like it feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. It's just amazing. So this Salvation Army was, hang on, I got the tag here. I only just remembered to take the tag off. I haven't worn it yet. Glasses. So it's called, I don't know, but it's like that circle by Salvos. And it says, another stylish pre-loved find from O by Salvos, there you go. Our handpicked collection of timeless and on-trend fashions. So when you go to like a secondhand store and you find, a cashmere sweater and it's like $2. Well, I guess a lot of these places are kind of catching on that certain things that people donate have high value. So this, I guess, was one of them. So it was $40. And I'm not mad about it because, like I said, it's 100% silk and I love the color. Very similar to my ranunculus that I just knit, if you watched last week's video. And yeah, it's just, I put it on, I was like, oh wow, I have to buy this. So even though $40 is a little bit on the higher end, it was still really worth it. Especially because when you buy something from a secondhand store, you know, the many benefits. You're buying something, you know, saving it from, not really, I don't know if this would have gone to landfill, but you know what I mean? You're giving the garment a second life, and you know, you're not really encouraging fast fashion, and it's really well made. And now here's here's the best part. When I got home, I Googled the label because I'd never heard of it before. It's called Flannel. And yeah, their stuff is really beautiful and very expensive. So fair enough that they charged me $40 for this. I had to look, and some of their tops were like ranging from $200 to $400. So I still got a steal. All right, the second thing that I got at the thrift store, I'm going to talk about a little bit later. I don't know, I think you can see it in the frame. It's this beautiful linen dress. But first I thought I would talk about knitting. Okay, I'm going to start with my work in progress, which you have seen before if you have been following my podcasts. So I'm using Holst Coast, which is 55% wool and 45% cotton. I have a little ball here because I'm holding it double. So every now and then I've got to break it and then wind up another little ball. This is the beautiful Hilja Dress by Ronja Hakelehto. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. So it's basically, it's kind of like a knitted hinterland dress. So yeah, if you've watched my episodes, you'll know that I love the hinterland dress. It's one of my favorite sewing patterns. I've sewn, I think, 7 of them. Anyways, when I saw this pattern, I thought, oh my God, perfect. A knitted version. So here I am. It might not look like I've done much since last time that you saw it, but it's growing so slowly because it's just stockinette in the round. Yeah, quite boring. So boring, in fact, that I decided to cast on another object, and that's why I have a finished object to show you. But normally I'm more of a what's the word, monogamous knitter. Like I love starting something and working on it, you know, fanatically until it's finished. But this has just started to get like quite tedious. So I thought I needed something to kind of switch it up a little bit. And yeah, the other thing that, you know, necessity is the mother of all, what's the end of that? Invention? Necessity is the mother of all invention. So as I'm going here, I'm just like, gosh, I don't know how much more stockinette I can do, but what's going to motivate me is I kind of had the idea so I think that the hem is meant to be just done in rib, and you know, obviously if you were to just continue in stockinette and cast off, it would roll as stockinette does, and so often, you know, ribbing is done at a hem to prevent the knitting from rolling up on itself. But I kind of had the idea of maybe putting a lace panel at the bottom, so it wouldn't be as tedious. I'll have something to look forward to, you know, just a couple more, this many centimeters to go, and then I'll get to work on some lace. And I thought it would look really pretty at the bottom of the dress to have like a lace panel. So I'm just going to show you. This is something that I knit last year, almost 2 years ago maybe. I knit this one, and this was knit in hobby, I forget the name of the yarn. Oh, Arezzo, I think it's called Arezzo, and it is a blend of bamboo, linen, and cotton, I think. I don't think there's any silk in there. And it was just improvised. I didn't follow any pattern for that. I just started up here and did like 2 triangles, connected them, and then started this flat in the back and did that kind of shape, and then connected everything in the round and knit down, and I added some I-cord ties. But when I got to the bottom, same thing, I guess. I thought I'd try something fun. So at the bottom here, I decided to do lace. So I'm gonna bring it up close to show you. I just Googled a lace pattern and I found this one that I liked. I think it was called the mermaid stitch. So hopefully you can see that. I've got a new phone, so yeah, hopefully the picture is going to be a lot better on my videos from now on. My old phone was a 10, so yeah, it's there's been quite a lot of improvements since my last one. And then also, I don't know if you can see, but I ended the lace, I did crochet. So I kind of thought, as I was finishing up the last row, I thought, oh, wouldn't that be pretty? Because the lace kind of was making this kind of a shape, and I thought, oh, that's kind of like my favorite crochet border, which is the shell stitch. And so I added, try to come up again. I added a shell stitch at the bottom of the lace. So I thought that's exactly what I should do with the dress. So I'm just gonna have to make sure, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's an 8 stitch repeat. And if you wanted to look it up, I believe it's called mermaid stitch or something like that. So I'll just have to make sure that I can divide my stitches into sections of 8. So I'll just have to count and divide it by 8. And then, if it's off by a few, then I'll just have to do some clever knit 2 togethers or cast on a few extra stitches here or there. Yeah, and then I thought I'd do that at the bottom. So now I'm excited to get back into this again, because let me tell you, it was getting quite tedious. Let me just put this on the floor and get rid of the... Okay, so yeah, like I said, I was getting quite bored working on that. I mean, it is fun sometimes when you're, watching something on TV and you just don't feel like doing anything complicated. But I guess I was itching for something a bit more complicated. And as I've mentioned, we are going to be going to Calgary at Christmas to visit my mom. And so one thing that we're gonna need is hats, mittens, that kind of thing, scarves. And so I showed a couple of episodes ago that while I was in Nimbin, I bought this yarn. It's called Heirloom Cozy Comfort, and it's an 8-ply yarn, and it is a combination of 70% wool, 17% silk, and 13% alpaca. And let me tell you, it is so soft. I knit this hat. This hat is called, hang on, I wrote it down. Okay, wait for it. Hat with braids. So sometimes, you get the title. In the title, you can tell what it is. So I'll hold it up close again. So hat with braids. So that's exactly what it is. It's a cabled hat, and the cables look like braids, or plait, as they say in Australia. How when you've got 3 pieces of hair and you braid them. So that's what the cables kind of look like. And I thought, it's a free pattern. Let me get back to that. So it's a free pattern, and it's by, oh boy, Gurimalla Designs. I don't know if I pronounced that properly. A free pattern, and very easy. If you have never done cables before, this might be a good introduction. There are a lot, but the cable is only repeated every 4th row. And it's very easy because you cast on, you do the border, and then you basically do the whole thing for a certain amount of centimeters. It's a free pattern, so I don't mind telling you how it goes. And there's no fancy decreases needed in pattern or anything like that. It just basically, when you get to the top, you do 4 rounds of knitting 2 together, and then where you just pass the last your tail through the remaining stitches and pull it in, and that's it. And it's so pretty. I just really love it. I love the color. I think it's called Grape, because I was looking online to see if I could get more of it from somewhere else. Sorry, I've got an itchy nose. It must be the mohair. Yeah, I think on here there's only a number. Color 4100. But as I was looking online, I think this is an Australian company, Heirloom. I think the color was called Grape, and yeah, that's a great color for it, great name for it. So I'm very, very pleased. Because this wool has the wool with the silk and the mohair already in it, it's kind of like holding a fingering weight yarn with a mohair silk. In my opinion, it has like kind of the same effect. It's very halo-y, very, very soft. It's still a little bit wet. Oh yeah, and I got to use these really cool needles that I got at Big W a couple weeks ago when I did the cabling bit. So they're 4 millimeters. It's got a steel cable. It's got a cable kind of like the Chow needles, and it's quite short, so it was actually brilliant for doing the hat. It was perfect, so I was very happy about that little combination. If you remember when I was talking about purchasing this yarn, I was very amazed to find that there was a yarn store kind of close to me. It's still like an hour drive, but you know, when you live in a small town, nothing is really close. But yeah, in Nimbin, they had this yarn store, and I bought this yarn there. It was very reasonable. It was $8, and I'm pretty sure it's non-superwash too, because it says hand wash. Gorgeous color, feels soft, feels amazing, knits up beautifully. But this store smelt of mothballs, which I didn't realize at first until, yeah, after I left the store with my husband. We went to go for pizza, and he could smell it. And he's like, "What's that smell?" And he's like, "I think it's your yarn. I think it's mothballs." I was like, "Oh no." And yeah, I thought that I had solved the problem. I've been putting these outside in the sun, and then at the end of the day, it was great. Like they wouldn't smell anymore. And then I was like, perfect. And then the next morning I would smell it again, and the smell was back. So I kept doing that. I've been doing that for a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks. And finally I said, okay, I'm going to put it in the sun all day, and then I'm going to knit something with it at night. So that's what I did. I had it in the sun. I knit a little bit of the hat. And then the next morning I would put the hat and the, you know, the working yarn in the sun again, and then work on it. And then I would wash it. So I washed it. I put some soap in it, some detergent, rinsed it and put it in the sun. And though it is still damp, God, it smelled worse. It smelled a whole lot worse when I pulled it out when it was wet. So I guess that's what it is when the wool is wet or damp. The mothball smell is really pungent. So I'm hoping that I can put this out in the sun again, and it'll get rid of the smell. And I don't know if I showed it last time. I do have this little sachet of charcoal that you're meant to put it beside your whatever smells bad, like your laundry or whatever, your kids' basketball shoes, and it soaks up the odor. So I'm gonna try that too. I'm gonna try putting the charcoal, maybe I'll even put it inside the hat, and then sit it somewhere, and then you take that charcoal sachet outside and you sun that, and that dissipates the smell. But I hope, because I really love this, and I really wanted to wear it in Canada, so I really hope that the smell's gonna go away, because it's pretty bad. Okay, the last thing I was gonna mention about that was cabling. So I really fell in love with cabling when I knit the 3 seasons cardigan last year, or at the beginning of this year. And so I was very excited to these cables, and I do not like using a cable needle. So when I first started, basically, my dog's making funny noises. Basically when you start, okay, so these cables are where you have to cross over 3 stitches and 3 stitches. So a method that I was using at first without the cable needle is I try to take my needle and skip 3 stitches and stick them into the next 3 stitches, and then pull everything off and then swap them like that. And it was kind of working, but getting into that 3rd stitch with my needle was just getting really difficult, because these other 2 were pulling the 3rd one really tight. So, but I still did not want to use a cable needle. So the method I used, and I think you might be able to see it at the beginning of the video, I'm going to post a clip of me knitting it, is I would take the 6 stitches off the needle, and then take my working needle and then pass it through these 3, and basically switch the position of switch the positioning of those stitches. And that worked really well. I don't know if you could do it with a very slippery plant-based yarn, but with wool yarn that works really well. And a recommendation I would make if you do that, if you take the 6 stitches off, is I found it was always easier to put the ones that are passing to the back first. Because when I tried to put the ones on the front onto the needle first, I found those back stitches kind of got lost a little bit. But when you swap the 3 and you put the back ones on first, the front ones are very easy to find and wiggle your needle back onto. So that would be my recommendation for that. Okay, I think that's all I had to talk about for the hat. Okay, the last thing I'm going to mention is this amazing dress that I found. So at the same shop, I found this beautiful dress. It's a 100% linen dress in like a chocolate brown, and the brand is Seed, which is another, really nice Australian brand. And it also had the O by Salvo's tag, and it was $20, but still $20 for a linen dress, a high quality linen dress is really great. So I'm gonna try it on for you because, let me grab it. I'd like your opinion. So on the hanger, this looks so beautiful. I love the puffy sleeve and how it gathers here at the sleeve. But yeah, I'm gonna try it on and show you something. Okay, so here it is. I feel like I look a little bit like a football player. Okay, so I used to play water polo when I was a teenager, quite seriously. I've been to nationals in Canada playing water polo. So I played quite seriously and quite a lot. And prior to that, I was a swimmer. So as a result, I have very broad shoulders. And I thought as I got older, my shoulders are not as broad as they used to be. But however, I just find in this dress, it's a bit too much. I think I look like a football player. So, but I love everything else. Okay, so I'm gonna get back into what I was wearing before. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I still have the tag on this too. Yeah, it was $20, and yes, it has that O by Salvo's on it as well. And like I said, it's Seed. It is a size 12, Australian size 12, so it is potentially a size or two too big for me, which could be contributing to the largeness in the shoulders. So I think what I'm gonna do, because I love the color, and I love linen clothes, as you know. So I have 2 ideas. Let me get your opinion. Number 1, I'm gonna take off the sleeve. So I'm just gonna use a stitch ripper and just remove the sleeves, and then try to maybe get some bias tape or just tuck it under and sew it down, and then have it as a sleeveless dress. So that's option number 1. And yeah, I think I'm gonna do that first, because if that doesn't work, then I can still do option B, which is to turn it into a skirt. So kind of a tiered skirt, which is, yeah, very similar to that new So Liberated skirt pattern that's been released. And yeah, so I would just have to cut it across there, and then I could potentially use the top bits to make an elastic waistband there, or I could use this tier to make the elastic waistband, and still the skirt would be still very long. So yeah, if you have any other ideas, I'd love to hear them. But yeah, or if you think that it looked all right, but I feel like a football player. So, a lot of it is how you feel in what you're wearing. So yeah. Okay, just some big news. My daughter had her final exam last year. So she's in year 12. She goes to a Waldorf school, and they just did she had her final exam it's called HSC, High School Certificate, I guess. It's all new to me. We don't have this in Canada. Here in New South Wales, when you're in year 12, they finish school a term early, and they've just been studying, and she had her final exam. So we're very, very, very happy for her. I'll show you a photo of her first day of school, and then when she came home from her exam, we went out for sushi to celebrate, and yeah, so congratulations to Lennox. Okay, so the tour of my garden, I'll put just clips of that at the end, and just to show you. Oh, we had a bit of a mushroom explosion the other day, so I took a little video. These really adorable little tiny mushrooms popped up everywhere in the garden. So I've got a little video of that. And then we have some figs growing on our little fig trees that we got, and some mulberries growing on our mulberry tree. And finally, some pineapples are starting to grow, or a pineapple is starting to grow. So I don't know if you know this, but I didn't know this before I moved here, and certainly you cannot grow pineapples in Montreal, I'm pretty sure, but now where I live is very tropical. So if you live somewhere where you can grow pineapples, when you get a pineapple, you just twist off the spiky top, and you peel back a few of the layers around the bottom, and then you put it in a bit of water, and then some roots will start to kind of spring out the bottom, at which point you can plant it in your garden. And then those spikes grow and grow and become a plant, and then right in the middle, another little baby pineapple starts to grow. So that's what's happening right now. So it'll be, we've only done this one other time a couple of years ago, and I think it took the whole summertime to ripen. So isn't that really cool? So I think often when you buy pineapples, sometimes the top has been cut off, probably because the farmer is going to be using that to plant more. But then I also heard once you pick that pineapple, I think that plant will die, and then 2 new ones might sprout up. Is that right? Oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, so that's exciting news happening in our garden. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, if you would please subscribe to my channel and give my video a like. Let me know where you're watching from. My video last week went a little bit crazy. I think I have over 4,000 views on it. So thank you so much if you watched my video, left me a comment, and or liked it. I got some new subscribers, so welcome back if you're watching again. And to my returning viewers, thank you so much for sticking around. And I really hope that you get to make something beautiful with your hands. Until next time, I look forward to knitting away on my projects, and I will catch you again next time. Thank you again for watching. There.